Добро вечер на сите луѓе мои златни. Добре дојавте во уште еден подкаст. Се надевам дека сте сите добри, прекрасни и оваа понеделничка вечер која што е дожлива ќе биде интересна за вас и дека ќе се забавувате со разговорот кој што следува. Денеска, како што гледате, имам чест да го гостам Леврони и човекот кој што направи историја во бодибилдингот, човекот кој што постави бројки, односно успеси кои што можеби никогаш нема да се надминат. Или in today's podcast we have the uncrowned king. Good evening and welcome in Macedonia.
Thank you, man.
Just to let you know, this is my first time speaking in English, so if somebody laughs at it and put memes on Instagram, it's your fault.
Oh, well, I'll help you, don't worry.
I'll help you. Before we speak, I have a couple of minutes for the sponsors, if you let me do
No
it.
problem.
Би ве замолил на самиот почеток нормално да ставите лайк, да го поддржите овој подкаст. Ќе се заблагодарам на Тамаро Маркети, кој што се генерален спонзор. Инаку Тамаро се наоѓаат во Охрид, тие што ме следите веќе знаете како си поминав ова лето, и да ви кажам дека имаат 13 маркети, еден хипермаркет, оне голем маркет, Тамаро 7, во кои што можете да најдете повеќе сектори, значи не се само маркет, туку тамаро е многу повеќе од маркет, сектори како месарница, рибарница, сладкарница, пекарница, готови јадења, органска храна, зелено пазарче и кетеринг. Се ова можете да го најдете во Тамаро маркети. Да ги поздравам од срце, да ми се здрави и живи. Соработката која што започнуваме на овој подкаст ќе трае и до крајот на сезоната и верувам во големи успеси. Да ги поздравам Моцарт, кој што се втор генерален спонзор на овој подкаст. Во дескрипција на овој подкаст можете да го најдете линкот преку кој што би требало да се регистрирате и доколку се регистрирате, уплатите прв депозит, добивате плюс 300 денари на нивната онлайн страна mozartbetonline.mk, страна за забава на која што имате најголеми квоти на свет за обложување, исто така најголем избор на видеолотариски игри од најпознатите авиатори и казино во живо. Во еден дел да ги поздравам секако и Крусел. И оваа сезона дружењето со нив продолжува, а најактуелни попусти имате на мебел за градина и градинарски алат и опрема. Спремни за предстојната сезона, очекувајте со Крусел многу новитети, многу интересни работи. Во текот на подкастот ќе ги спомнам и останатите спонзори, така одлучивме оваа сезона за да посветиме малку повеќе време. РС, фала ти за поддршката и 20 евра. Kevin, again, hello and welcome in Macedonia. Just to let you know that it's really an honor to be with you here in the studio because I'm a fan of the bodybuilding and I can say that you are in the top 3 bodybuilders for me in the world. So when the people say that are inspired by your story, do you feel like the bodybuilding story or your life story?
I think the life story. Mm-hmm. The life story is what inspires people. You know, all of us have our own purpose in life and our own journey in life.
Yeah.
People always ask me, well, how did you get, to success in bodybuilding? But it's the journey, the journey we go through in life. And that's what strengthens us.
What's the most proud of Kevin? Father, bodybuilder, businessman?
I think every aspect of life, when I think back on my life, when I was young, child and everything, my father died when I was 10 years old. Mm-hmm. He had cancer, died in 2 weeks. And I thought, wow, that's horrible. First funeral you ever go to is your father's. But and then my mother, when I was 19 years old, mm-hmm. So when you think you live through these things and you feel this pain and you feel, like your life is falling apart, right? So now I look back at those memories and how I felt in those moments it just made me strong. It made me strong, and that's how I pretty much found the gym. And if that had never happened, the world wouldn't even know who Kevin Levrone is right now. So that's why I always say, when you think your life is falling apart, it's falling into place. So to answer that, it's the aspect of mm-hmm. our whole entire life. And I don't really believe that. I don't look at something and say, it's negative or mm-hmm. that's bad. I say, it's happening for a purpose, a greater purpose, to make you stronger.
The other people say can say that the time heals the wounds. Is it true?
I don't know if time heals the wounds. Time strengthens you mm-hmm. for other things, other moments that happen. It almost like it makes you're able to be strong enough to endure what's next to come. Because if you look at life is like this. It's not going to be perfect. What is a perfect life?
Yeah.
I would take my life and I'd probably say, I have a pretty perfect life. Even though my father died, my mother died, and, my brother, died and things like this. I think that happened for me to be here, for you to know who I am,
Everything happens with the reason.
Everything, right? Man, everything. And I think if we look at this, right? Mm-hmm. That's what gives us strength. That's what makes us strong. That's what gives us our character and who we are. That's my story. And I'm sure you have a story too. Absolutely. And all the fans out there and everybody who comes up and meeting and greeting me and everything, You know, they're like, oh, you know, this and that, but I get strength from everyone.
Great. Just to say thanks, we have donations on the podcast, and when I say just to let you know what I'm doing. Славчо Димишков, да се ви здрави жив. Фала ти.
By the way, man, I want to tell you, your English is perfect.
Yeah,
it's good.
I'm trying.
You're doing a great job.
I'm trying. Yeah. You can help me in the coming minutes. Yeah. Okay, tonight you're here for the Macedonian people.
Yeah.
They want to hear your story. And when I showed them that you are my guest, they told me that you're one of the most inspiring people because of your life. I want to start about that moment when you lost your mother, 10 years old. I'm sorry, father, 10 years old. And you had to become man, but you were a kid. I want you to remember those days. What feelings are coming up?
Well, loss, you know, anger, feelings of not knowing what tomorrow is going to bring, you know.
Mm-hmm.
My mother pretty much took me to church with my two sisters every day, you know, church and everything. And then, you know, I woke up one day, I had to go to school. My father would always drive me to the bus stop and take me to school, you know. And this day, I had to walk. And my mother says, you know, your father's back is hurting. You got to walk to the bus stop.
Mm-hmm.
So this was my first journey to school without my father taking me. So when school, I'm in the 6th grade, you know. So when I got out of school, my father normally comes to pick me up. So this day he didn't show up. You know, it started getting dark. I didn't get on the bus, you know. And
you didn't know that he had
no, I didn't
cancer?
know. I didn't know. She didn't know. He didn't know. So the janitor, the lady that worked at the school, she took me home, and I got home about 6, 7 o'clock at night. And I normally get home about 4 o'clock. My mother would have dinner going. There was no dinner. My mother wasn't there. My father never came to pick me up. So it was like a black hole, you know. Everything just dropped out, you know. Everything just started changing. And the first time, I just kind of felt like, what's going on? You felt lost. You feel like nothing is in your control. And I never saw my father again. You know, 2 weeks later, he died. You know, I had to go to his funeral. And the first time to see him in a casket, that was the first time I was ever introduced to death. You know, you go from a perfect life, living on a farm, you know, horses and all kind of animals, to seeing your father in a casket, you know.
I can't imagine that.
You
really.
are all of a sudden introduced to pain, tears, sadness. You know, in America, we have, you know, we come from a Christian family, you know.
Traditional?
Yeah. And my father's Catholic, my mother's Christian. And I'm thinking it's like Christmas time, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be a celebration. We had to bury my father on Christmas. So that year we had no gifts. You know, as a child, I didn't have a Christmas tree. Mm-hmm. There was nothing to celebrate. That was, for me, shocking. And I remember asking my mother, I says, Mom, I said, you took me to church, you know, you talk about God, you pray all the time. But if God is so good, why did he take Daddy? Why did Daddy die? So I got very, very angry at God for a long time at that young age.
I have one sentence here I wrote. His mother always told him not to blame God.
Yeah.
Maybe one day everything will make sense to you.
It's truth. She says, you know, Kevin, I remember I was at the funeral. My father was in a casket. I looked up at my mother. I says, why aren't you crying? She says, because God always knows what he's doing. Don't ever question God. And I just couldn't believe that she had so much strength, because it was 6 kids. I was 10 years old, and we were all 2 years apart, 3 boys and 3 girls.
Yeah.
And she never died, and I saw the strength in her, and she never complained. And she continued to go on with her life and show strength to her children. And I just said, wow, you know, if there is a God that she knows, I want to try to get to know who he is, so that I could find my purpose in life.
You continue to believe in God?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. Even though I was angry, I still prayed and said, God, you know, why did you take my father? Why? I never got the answers, you know?
Yeah.
you know, when you ask God for, he answers in a different way.
Yeah.
You know, I would pray and I would cry and I would go to school and kids would make fun of me because I didn't have a father, you know. And I don't know if you know what that feels like, but I would put my head down on the desk and I would cry in school. And I hated school at that point.
I heard that you were bullied in the school.
Yeah.
I can't understand.
Yeah, that happened. I didn't play any sports or nothing.
Only because you didn't have a father.
I didn't have a father and I felt lost, you know.
That's something that happens in America? Because I really can't
back
understand
then,
that.
You're talking about in the 70s, you know, everybody has a family, a father and a mother, and
it's not
a
your
normal
fault.
life.
From that,
but it was just the strangest thing because I was the only kid in school that his father died. And yeah, I remember it, man. It was just, but you know, like I said, I would pray to God, you know, I would cry at night and everything, and nothing made sense to me. And I didn't want to be around any kids or nothing. So I just started doing push-ups. You know, I started doing sit-ups. I started studying martial arts, started reading philosophy about Bruce Lee, you know, the mind power of Bruce Lee and Jet Kundo.
And what did you learn?
I learned that strength is in you. You know, the strength, the mind. Where the mind goes, the body will follow. You know, so martial arts gave me something that I needed it taught me how to believe in myself. You know, I would start reading the philosophy about Bruce Lee, you know, and how he created, you know, the whole art of Jet Kundo, you know, and his mindset, you know, these things. And I think that led me to studying martial arts, taking martial arts, because I took it, you know, 6, 7, 8 years. And then I started push-ups, sit-ups, and then I found my way into the gym. You know, martial arts is a very individual thing. You don't need anybody else to make you great. It's the work that you put in, you're going to see it. So that translated to when I went to the gym, I started getting bigger. And when I got bigger, I started moving slower in the martial arts. So I wasn't as fast and as quick as I used to be or as flexible. So I had to make a decision to go all the way with the martial arts or turn and go towards bodybuilding.
Powerlifting, right?
Powerlifting, yeah. And I like that because it gave me something that martial arts didn't give me.
Strength?
No, soreness. Whenever I did martial arts, you would never get sore.
Yeah.
I could go to the gym and pick those weights up and train, and I would feel the inner pain in my muscles just hurting. And I love that feeling. And another thing that it gave me that martial arts didn't give me, I could see my body just changing and growing. And I was in full control of that, right?
What was the main purpose? Someone starts because of the girl. Someone starts to get away from it.
The main purpose was because of the pain that I went through from my father dying and
that was your getaway.
Yeah, so I needed to be able to control something. So for me, going to the gym training and seeing my body, I was in full control. So whatever I do, I would see the result. So it was up to me, right? So I felt like, you know, hey, this is what I really, really enjoy.
Tell me about your PRs. Bench, maybe?
Yeah. My personal best with the bench is 600.
In pounds, tell me in kilos,
pounds.
please. In kilos?
I don't know what the kilos are.
Tell me, I will check it now. We don't know the pound thing. 600?
Yeah.
I will see you now. 272 in kilos.
Yeah.
In bench.
Yeah. That's when I tore my chest, you know.
Yeah. We'll speak about the injury. Yeah. So 1990, it was the first year that you were competing in powerlifting? Or in bodybuilding? 1990.
1990, yeah.
Maryland State Championship.
No, it was the Mr. Colossus. Was the powerlifting show. And that day they had a all-natural bodybuilding.
You claimed victory.
Yeah. I claimed victory in that show. And I had no idea what I was doing.
Who told you to go to the shows?
A friend of mine, a guy that I was in the gym training with, you know. So, and I went and I ended up winning, and I figured, you know, this is pretty easy, you know.
You were
So
dominating
guess
the guys?
what? I'm in full control, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, wow, okay, I don't need anybody. I can do this on my own. So then I started thinking about, wow, if I put more into this, what will happen? So I just kind of dedicated all of inner strength, pain, sadness, all these moments, because I said, wow, I'm in full control.
What about the school?
You know, at this, actually, now we're going back to when I was in 6th grade again. I failed that year.
You failed it?
Yeah, I failed that year that my father died. I failed.
You didn't go? Or
Yeah, I went, but I just failed. You know, I had to repeat the class. So I just, you know, started working out and training and found my way to the gym. And it just gave me all the therapy, gave me everything I needed. I didn't need any friends, you know. I didn't need anything. All I needed to do was just go to that gym and train. And I was in full control.
And what do you think now about the school and the kids that are used to learning and everything?
I think everybody has a journey, you know, like for me, if my father had never died, the world wouldn't even know Kevin Levrone right now. My mother had never died, the world definitely wouldn't know Kevin Levrone and who I am. So, you know, I say when you think your life is falling apart, it's falling into place. You understand what I'm saying?
Of course.
That's why I always tell people, you know, when I was 10 years old, I had 10 pieces to the big puzzle of my life. So if you have 70, the average person lives 70 some years, right? Maybe 75 or 80 years.
Yeah.
So now, you know, that I'm older, I'm 60 years old now, right?
Yeah.
So I have 60 pieces to the puzzle of my life. So when I see, oh, okay, that piece happened when I was 10 years old. It didn't make sense then because I only had 10 pieces. Now I see the whole bigger picture of my life because I've lived it. Now that makes sense to me. Why my father died, why my mother died, you know? All of these things that I thought was bad or negative or my life was falling apart, it makes sense to me now.
That's maybe most important thing that everyone needs to learn.
Yeah.
Because every man suffers sometimes in his life. You started juicing. I read one sentence from you. I don't have anything else to live for right now. That was after your mother's death.
Yeah.
And you started juicing. When I see this, I see frustration. But when it comes from the frustration, the steroids are not good.
You have to see that there's a person that has to make a decision, right? Because I knew that this sport that I'm getting into, bodybuilding, that you have to go all 100%, right? So I would never do it when my mother was living because I never want to dishonest her or, you know, do something against my mother's wishes because she's a religious lady, right?
She didn't want you to use steroids.
But they say
you talk with her on those.
No,
topics?
I will never talk to her about that. But they say, you know, never alter what God gives you, right? Never alter that. So when she was alive, I would never do something that would dishonor her.
So tell me about
when she died of cancer, you know, and I said, you know, I don't have anything else to live for. I don't have anything else to lose. So I'm going to take every risk that I feel that I need to take. And if I'm going to take every risk and decide to take steroids, I'm going to do it 100%. I'm not going to play around, you know, and bullshit. I'm going to take it and I'm going to train and I'm going to bust my ass in the gym, okay? And I'm going to go in. And that's what I did. I went all in. And when I went all in, eat, sleep, train, I mentally was like a program computer, you know, or a person on a mission. You know, my mindset instantly just, that was the missing link that I needed to make me turn into that warrior guy. Now it's about the pain. Now it's about the suffering. Now, guess what? Anything that I endure, I'm going to enjoy that pain.
Yeah.
So I self-inflicted more pain on me when I went to the gym. I ate, slept, trained. I ate, slept 10 hours a day. Every single day.
You had your sisters and brothers around you. You had to
but
make a move.
At this point, they couldn't understand me. Nobody.
The question
they
is,
probably thought that I was crazy. At this point.
Did you have to make money those days?
Yeah,
to find a career, to find a path.
I was working construction. My family had a construction company, so I started working construction. And every day after construction, I would just go to the gym. And, working construction, that didn't make me happy, I hated it. You know what I mean?
The bodybuilding was the escape.
Yeah, because I could go in the gym, I could say, hey, I'm going to do 400 pounds today. I would go in the gym and I would set my mind and I would do 400 pounds.
Let's talk about the pro card that you earned. It was easy for you. When I see like this, maybe it was it was easy.
I think
I'm telling this because you won it in 1 year. There's a guys that are trying all life.
You got to think. See, a lot of people do things for the fame. They do things for glory, and they do things for money, and they do things because they want to show off and they want to get girls. For me, this was survival, man.
Yeah.
It was my life, right?
Yeah.
So it was different. The pro card and all that stuff, it happened so quick. But if you think about it, my journey started when I was 10.
Sure.
Doing push-ups, doing sit-ups. So the world might say, wow, that happened quick, but it didn't, And I sit back and I think now, if I had known that, if God said, hey, Kevin, the world's going to call you the uncrowned king. You're going to be one of the most famous bodybuilders in the world, have one of the best records in professional bodybuilding history ever, But your father's going to die. You're not going to have a mother. Your brother's going to die. Your aunt's going to die. Your uncle's going to die. You're going to be sitting there at his funeral at 10. If I had known I had to go through all that, I would have said no. I wouldn't have did it.
But no one asked you.
So God always, you have a beginning and you have the ending of what you reach, but people don't see what you have to endure.
The struggles.
The suffering.
The suffering. They see the success.
They see the success, but they don't see the suffering that it took to get to that success. And I think when I go and I stand in front of everyone, they can relate to that struggle in my life, because everybody in life is going through a struggle,
Of course.
So going back to what you said about bodybuilders, you have to have a purpose. I never did it for the money. I never did it for the fame. I never did it because I wanted to feel like I was better than anyone else. I did it because that was my purpose, the path that he put me on. But now it's there to say, hey, to give to the people and say, if you're going through something in life, I understand because I was there. You can make it. If you hold on, your life will make sense to you.
Yeah.
If you don't decide to kill yourself, I felt like that too, Do
you think that that's the most important thing, that young guys that are watching now, they need to find the reason, but never money. If it's money, they can succeed. This is my thought. They can succeed, but on the short terms.
When I see young guys, I always say, don't try to be like somebody else.
Yeah, be authentic.
Don't try to be like somebody else, Be real and find your path in life. You'll never find your path trying to be like somebody else, and you'll never find success out of a steroid bottle or copying after somebody else. You have to endure every single moment of your life and realize that that's your life. It's different than Kevin Levrone's life,
Of course, yeah.
It's like me saying, oh, how did you make it to this famous podcast?
Yeah.
If I want to try to be like you and have this, it ain't going to happen, So you have your journey here.
Of course.
To your success, I have my journey. And I'm sure you had some mountains and hills and valleys that you had to go through too.
Every successful story has that.
Yeah.
Of course.
And that's what it is. And that's what I try to tell my fan family.
About Joe Weather, it's interesting story. Is he one of the most important people in your life?
Yeah, absolutely.
The one that give you the contract, the one that introduced you to Mr. Olympia or to the world.
Yeah.
Mr. Olympia, I will talk now in Macedonian just to tell them. Гледам дека некои од гледачите не разбираат англиски, но откако ќе заврши подкастот ќе се потрудиме да направиме превод. Инаку сега зборуваме за моментот кога Кевин Леврон се запознава со Джои Ведер, човекот кој што е основа Мистер Олимпија во 2013 година, човекот е и починат, но од тука почнува целата таа приказна на Кевин Леврон и оној момент Uncrowned King, значи дека никогаш не е освоил Олимпија, туку бил второ место, second place 4 times, but we will come to that part. About Joe Weather now. Tell me about your first, when you meet him, the first time.
I had won the nationals in 1990.
Won.
Yeah, I had to go win this championship in 1990.
You won against Paul De Mayo, right?
That was the junior nationals in 1990. Yeah.
I think that you went second place in the junior, and then
4 months later I won the nationals.
Yeah. And with Ronnie Coleman was.
Ronnie Coleman was there. Flex Wheeler was there. A lot of the guys, you know.
Yeah.
I ended up winning. This is in 1991. And then I was like, wow, okay. And I figured out, wow, you can make money doing this. So I ended up turning pro within 2 years, you know. And it happened really quick. But it had a story leading up to it, right? So once I learned how to diet and train and all this stuff, and then, I turned pro pretty fast. And I flew to California. And I met Joe Weider. It was a dream, you know, because I only seen him in this movie, Pumping Iron, with Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know.
Yeah.
And Joe Weider was like the man who started bodybuilding. He created Mr. Universe, created Mr. Olympia, and Muscle and Fitness, and Flex Magazine, and Men's Health, and all of these things. So me sitting down and meeting him for the first time was like, it was pretty amazing. He
called you or someone suggested you?
No, what happened was when I won the nationals, at about 275 guys, I turned pro. And he heard about me. And Jim Mannion, if it wasn't for Jim Mannion, I got to give Jim Mannion credit. You know, he's the IFBB president right now. But he was back then, he was an NPC president. He still is to this day, you know.
Yeah.
He came backstage to me when I was competing against Paul De Mayo in the junior nationals.
Yeah.
And I got second, you know, and I felt like I should have beat Paul De Mayo, but Jimmy, he put his hands on my shoulders, you know, and I didn't even really know who he was because I ended up, you know, getting in there so quick. And he said, hey, you know, I'm Jim Mannion and I'm the president of the show here, the NPC Nationals, and I believe in you, kid. You know, and he touched me. He said, hey, I believe in you, kid. I believe you can do some good things. Come to the Nationals just in four months from now. I was like, wow, you believe in me? And that was the first man.
After your father?
After my father. Yeah. It was almost like God was talking through him, you know, showing me love, right? And saying he believed in me. He's the first man ever said he believed in me. After my father, he said, I believe in you. Come to the Nationals. And I said, really? He said, yeah.
That motivated you a lot. Surely.
I went back, brother. Let me tell you something. I had an opportunity of a lifetime, and the world at this point was waiting to see what I was going to do in the next 4 months. I went back and I bust my ass, man, you know. And that's when I made the decision. I said, you know what? I'm all in, you know, and I never looked back, you know. I never questioned anything that happened prior to me in this moment.
And there is no other way.
No other way. And they say you have to seize the moment. Opportunity comes once in a lifetime, and I really believe that.
Yeah.
So either you can bullshit and miss it, you can try to glorify it and be great, you know.
Yeah.
But for me, I went in to be the best that I possibly could be, and I didn't care about anything else. I didn't care if the world blew up. I was going to go and I was going to win.
And what about Joe Weather?
And that's what happened. So after I won that show, Lee Haney, who was 8-time Mr. Olympia, gave me my, overall with Jim Mannion. And then my whole life changed. I flew to California, signed a big contract with Joe Weider, and I met him for the first time. He took me underneath the Weider umbrella. I signed a 14-year deal contract with him, making a lot of money, So
those were the days when you started to make money and
I was one of the highest paid athletes in the whole Weider organization. Going into that's when I learned the business side of it. So the door and the window opened up for my life tremendously, I went and I competed in the Mr. Olympia for my first time.
You went
I got second.
Dorian Yates
Yeah,
first.
my first Mr. Olympia, I got second, won
and
a lot of money.
that was the curse.
That was it. So my whole life changed and I never looked back, but Joe Weider put me underneath an umbrella and I realized that, you have to live with structure. When I signed that contract, I could not get into trouble. I had to show up for exhibitions. I had to train. I had to show up for photo shoots. I had to be a stand-up citizen. I could not be treating people like shit. You understand? Because now you're representing a brand. You're representing
a public figure.
Yes. And it was a structure. So I knew right there, I knew where my life was going to be 8 months from now. I knew 12 months from now that I had to do the Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
I had guest posings. I had every single month to a whole year ahead prepared for me. And that's what Joe Weider did. He took care of his athletes like that. He taught us how to pose. He let us know the importance of writing articles for the magazines and being in shape and showing up on time.
If I say he is like a father to you, am I right?
It was a perfect umbrella that I needed for my life. And I followed every single word, that everything I learned from him. This is the guy that brought Arnold Schwarzenegger to America, and he was there willing to teach me, not only me, but every athlete, every champion, Dorian Yates, Lee Haney, Ronnie Coleman, all of us was underneath that Weider umbrella.
Do you miss him now?
Of course.
11 years
of course.
after his death.
Of course, it was a turning point in my life. So here I am, this kid, 10 years old. My whole life changed, Now I'm meeting Arnold Schwarzenegger, Joe Weider, now the magazines are coming out and everybody is saying I'm famous. But again, none of that really made sense, or I didn't pay attention to that. I was just trying to be the best that I could be and do what I needed to do.
Enzo Ferrari, and his quote is, "No one remembers who took second place, but maybe you're one of the most rare men in the history of the sport, not bodybuilding, that everyone's remember, and you're second place."
Yeah.
Why is that? What do you think?
Because, the world calls me the uncrowned king. I think, I don't know, man. It's just...
It's a difficult question, huh?
They can relate to the struggle,
Uh-huh.
That's it. I don't do it for the glitz and the glory. You know what I mean? And for me, more lessons to learn and a defeat. I've won 24 first place shows. I've gotten 18 second place. But I tell you, the one show that meant the most to me was the one where I finished dead last and I got 15th. And that was when I came back in 2015. That was when I got a standing ovation. That was when I realized that first place.
Yeah. We'll come to that. 2000 is the year that everyone thought that you will win. And this year, I think Dorian Yates wasn't competing, right? Mm-hmm. What happened this year? Somebody wants to say that you got rigged and Ronnie Coleman didn't deserve the win. And this year, maybe it was the year that it was supposed to be your year. What do you
2000?
think? 2000 or 2002, if I'm mistaken.
You saying what? What happened?
The most important Olympia for you. You was second
you're saying the most important. All of them was important.
Maybe 2000 it was your best shape.
For me, it was my favorite show.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Help me with the English if I'm doing something
That was
wrong.
my favorite show. You know, I enjoyed it. You know, it was a full moon night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a full moon night. I'll never forget that. And I think Ronnie Coleman's gut was bloated. You know, his gut was extended.
And that's the year that
yeah.
I was talking.
And I felt as though my presentation was spot on. You know, everything was connecting. And I thought if it was the moment that the judges would have decided to do the change of gods, right?
Mm-hmm.
That I said, okay, here it is, you know. So they didn't pick me.
Why? Why do you think is that?
Because now the world picked me. So it wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Because if I had won the Mr. Olympia, I would have quit.
Really?
If I had won in 1992, I would have quit. Because I would have reached the pinnacle of that sport.
Mm-hmm.
I kept going because that was the only show in the world I never won.
What kept you going?
Because I wanted to prove to the judges that I was deserving enough to win the Mr. Olympia. So I said, okay, you're not going to give me the Mr. Olympia? I'm going to go on the world tour and I'm going to win everything else in the world. And that's what I kept doing after the Mr. Olympia.
You won Arnold Classic?
Twice.
Yeah.
I was the first one ever won a show twice, yeah.
Yeah, that's maybe the second show in the world by toughness.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, everyone knows who is Arnold Schwarzenegger in Macedonia too. So maybe you got some interesting stories with him. How did you met him? Seems to be a nice guy.
Yeah. What had happened was I got second in the Mr. Olympia in 1992. And I came home and I was working out and I tore my chest. I blew out my chest, like ripped my chest muscle. Benching 600. Tore my pectoralis major and minor, snapped my tendon off the bone with that much weight. It just ripped. Devastating injury.
Those parts,
blew everything out. Yeah. So there's never was a bodybuilder that ever came back after an injury like that. I thought my career was done. This is the second devastating thing that ever happened to me. Well, a lot of devastating things. So there was never an opportunity. There was never a bodybuilder that came back after this injury. They were done, you know, because they were deformed. Because when you tear your chest, it's never looking perfect again. By the grace of God, I don't know what happened. I didn't work out for 7 months, you know, and I had to have 2 surgeries, 10-hour surgeries, and I got infected and I lost a lot of weight, you know, And I had 3 months to get ready because I had a contract with Joe Weider. I had to go back and compete on stage at the Mr. Olympia. And I couldn't work out for 6 months, 7 months.
You didn't told him that you were injured, right?
No, I lied.
You lied,
and I said, you know, I tore my little bit, but, how did you do it? I said, I was just doing little flies with dumbbells because I didn't want them to know how bad it was. So anyway, I trained for 3 months and I ended up losing like 40 pounds of muscle. How much is that in kilo?
I don't know really. I will check it now.
Anyway, I went and I competed in the 93 Olympia.
It's 18 kilos.
Yeah. And I got fifth. I got fifth, right? After that injury.
You got fifth.
And then I realized, damn.
About the chest? It was the same? On the look?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's crazy. So that injury, you don't understand. Within them 7 months, brother, it was like mental. Yeah. So here I am again, losing everything, feel like my world is falling apart, crying to God, right? Embarrassed by myself. My whole career is over. Joe Weider said, well, if you don't compete, you're done. The world started saying, Kevin Levrone, you know, he's hurt. He's fly by night. So, you know, I saw the opportunity of when somebody says you can't do something and doubts you, what do? Either you can believe what they say, or you can take that and turn it into inner strength and do something that has never been done before. And that's what I did. I came back, I competed.
You won
after 3 months of training with that devastating injury, and I got 5th in Olympia. Arnold Schwarzenegger then invited me to the Arnold Classic, and I said, shit, I got 6 months. If I can do what I did in 3 months of training after that injury, and I got 6 months, shit, I'm gonna win the show. And I went and I won. I had to win that show because I knew if I won that show, I could get next to Arnold Schwarzenegger. Because whoever wins the show, you get to do an interview with Arnold Schwarzenegger and spend some time.
That's
talking
important,
to him.
right?
Yeah, because I wanted to get into the movies after that.
Yeah, you went in some of the movies.
I went, I bust my ass, I trained, I ended up going, and I ended up winning the Arnold. Again, I proved to myself, where the mind goes, the body will follow. What you visualize, you can achieve. Take your darkest moments, right? And you gain strength from it, and turn that impossible into possible. You see? So you can never believe what people tell you. It's what you think you can create, anything. So that was the second thing in my life, the mind power. I was like, wow, okay. So anyway, I won the Arnold Classic. And I won $100,000, and I was like, damn.
$100,000. Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You done with that money on Olympia, right?
But look, check it out. So I win, and I'm like, damn. I wanted to ask Arnold, right? I said, how do you get into the movies, you know? So I'm walking off stage with the trophy. Joe Weider's there, and I'm almost afraid to ask Arnold this question, you know? Because he don't know me. He don't know me. He just got finished doing a Terminator. You know, he's getting ready to do another movie.
Those were the years when he was so popular.
Yeah, and he's doing the End of Days, right? So I'm like, and he's filming this movie. So he came to the show in between him filming the movie. So as I'm walking off the stage with the trophy and the check, and I'm walking through the curtains backstage, I stop and I see him. Hey, Arnold. I said, Arnold, can I ask you a question? He says, I said, listen, how do I get into the movies, right? How do I get into the movies? He goes, oh, don't worry. We'll speak about it later. I'll have my assistant contact you. And I'm thinking, oh shit, man.
I embarrassed myself.
It's over. So I didn't see him no more. Next day I had to leave. I flew home, you know, and I remember I started going to my gym, and I was like, damn, I won the Arnold Classic. So one day, 2 weeks later, I show up at my gym, because I owned the world's gym back then. And I walk in, and the secretary at my front desk, she says, Kevin. I said, yeah. She goes, I don't know if this is real or not, but somebody called here and said that they were Arnold Schwarzenegger's secretary and left a message for you to call her. I said, who? She said, some lady named such and such. I says, wow, really? And I'm thinking,
Man of a word. Man
right?
of his word, yeah.
I picked the phone up, went to my office, and I called, and I said, hey, this is Kevin. She says, hey, Kevin. And I said, yeah. She goes, do you remember me? And I said, I don't know, maybe backstage at the Arnold. I was there. She goes, yeah, Arnold said that he would have me call you. Well, and I said, oh, really? I said, damn, okay. So
this is my chance.
I was like, oh, shit, right? Something great is happening. These dreams are coming true, right?
Yeah.
So I says, tell me, what's going on? She says, Arnold wants to know if you could be here this weekend coming up in California. He wants to invite you onto the movie set of End of Days. And I said, really? I said, yeah, I'll be there. Tell me where I got to be and tell me where I need to go. So she gave me the information. I flew to California, jumped on the plane immediately, and then flew out. And he took me to the movie set, and he's there filming the movie End of Days, right?
How was the set? How big was it?
It was incredible, man. You know, they picked me up from the airport and took me straight to the movie set. We're out in the middle of like this airport place filming, because they were filming the subway scene back then. If you go, you'll see pictures online with me with the subway, in the subway scene, me and Arnold, and I'm actually sitting there holding the machine
gun. With the gun, right?
with
yeah,
him.
I saw that.
That was on the movie set of End of Days. So I had a chance to spend, right? Days with him, right?
Sorry.
3 days with him on the movie set. Yeah, that's it. 3 days. So when you think your life is falling apart, it's falling into place, man. I never would have imagined, that would have happened.
This is nice.
There's so many amazing things. So he was telling me things, and I asked him, about acting and how did you do it and what kind of advice. So I'm in a trailer with him. We eating bagels, and then in between sets, he would take me out there and film, and we go back and spend. It was incredible, man.
So he was just a friend, and he didn't ask anything for it.
Well,
right?
he respected the fact that I was a champion.
He was a champion.
And honor respects hard work, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't give anybody nothing.
Bro.
But if you show that you're serious, then that's when we help. So he did, and it was a life-changing experience. So he says, listen, he said, I'm going to give you some books to read. He goes, go read these books. There's a guy in California called Milton Carcelis. He gave me this. And there's a friend of mine called Walter Von Huny, who's the writer. He's my acting coach. So I met Walter on the movie set of End of Days. And I took this information and I left, when we had to leave. And I went and I read all the books.
Maybe you can help me to arrange an interview with Arnold.
Yeah, maybe, right?
Yeah, I can come with every camera here that I have. I will pay everything to come in America and talk with you.
So I read all these books, and then I reached back to him and I said, hey, Arnold, this was a year later. And I said, hey, I did everything you told me to do, and, I want to be serious about this. He goes, oh, really? He says, you did that? And I says, yeah. So he started questioning me, and he knew. He says, oh, okay. He says, go to California. When you get to California, I want you to go to study with Milton Carcelis. So I sold my gym, and I moved to California. Yeah. Moved to California.
So you went all in again.
Yeah, and I started taking acting lessons. And I got my first movie, and that's how that movie part of my life started. It was inspired by Arnold. So again, where the mind goes, you can create almost your destiny.
What's the most important thing in the movie career, or some maybe you have some stories that it's interesting to hear. What movie is the most watched? Your movie that you were into it.
I don't know. This is a film, Backlash. It was a film, I Am. I don't know which one was the
Red Line, maybe?
Red Line. Yeah, Red Line was the most watched because Eddie Griffin, Griffin, right? The comedian guy. He was in that movie. It was a bunch of exotic cars. We filmed that movie and
why did you stop
in LA
with the movies?
Well, because I have a son now,
Yeah, Gabriel,
my son, yeah, he's the most important thing to me. All the movies and all that stuff was great, but when he was born, my whole life stopped, centered around him, and he's my number one most important thing. So I live my life for him now, and that's it. So I had to move back to Maryland, where I was
the traditional
born.
Way that you was born, you were raised. Did you teach him the same principles?
I think, of course, because
I'm asking this, because from here, from Macedonia, we watch in America a lot of controversial things with the liberal now.
Yeah, I know. I taught him what my mother taught me, and I taught him the love that I saw from my father to my mother. We can only teach what we know. And I know that every day of his life, I give him my life because I don't know when my life will end. I don't want him to feel the pain that I felt when my father died. So each and every day that my son takes a breath, I make sure that I talk to him, that I be with him. For me, that's my lifeline. So I think because of my situation with my father not being able to, you know, see me grow to be a young man or anything, it just allows me to pour all the love into my son, you know.
What advice have you given to him that comes to your mind every time?
Advice that I tell him is do more for others than you do for yourself, because that's what my mother told me.
Do for others.
Do more for other people than you do for yourself.
But maybe like that you will get hurt.
No, doesn't matter, because God is always going to look after you, you know. Take care of your mother like I took care of my mother. You know, when she was dying, I was 19 years old, and, you know, she had cancer. So this is before I even started bodybuilding. You know, I would work to help her, you know, pay bills and to put food and do everything. She was a driving force in my life for me to be successful. You know, I wanted to be successful, to give her something, you know, because I felt like she had lost, you know, my father and was going through a lot. So I was really fighting to try to be a man at a young age, but my time ran out with her. You know, she never lived to see me.
Maybe she's seeing you from the sky.
You know, and I think about it when I look into the mirror and I look at my son. You know, my parents is living.
You look at yourself in him?
Yeah. I see it. I see. They had to live for him to be here, and so on and so forth. So all of our grandparents that lived before us, they live in us and through us now. You know, so when I look in the mirror, there's a piece of my father and me and my mother and me and my grandfather and everybody. So whatever I do, I got to realize that all the pain that they went through, my father died for me to not be an asshole to other people or, you know, do all these negative things. I have to live my life knowing that his life had a greater purpose for my life.
And what do you think about those times now that you're living? Maybe in Macedonia is not that bad by my perspective, but in America now, with the the kids teaching, with the parents.
You know, it's just...
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I understand what you're talking about.
How do you manage to save them from something that is... Kako na англиски сега наметнато, кажете ми, наметнато. Хайде, брзо. I don't know the word. You know, it's forced. It's forced to teach them something they don't want to believe. That's the perfect sentence.
I mean, the sad thing about the whole entire world is that people don't see goodness. You know, you find what you're looking for. You see, when I see an individual, I'm looking for goodness, you know. My life is about spreading love, peace, and happiness. So I look to try to see the goodness in someone. If a nation is falling to evil, it happened long before you or me even got here. You know, world wars and evilness and all of these things. The only thing that you or I can do, or any of our listeners out there can do, is, I always tell people, go with love, man. Make an impact on every single human being's life that you touch, that you meet, and that you see. You know, because I'm not perfect. You know, I didn't live a perfect life.
Nobody's perfect.
You know, there's things that I've done. You know, took steroids. I wasn't proud about that. You know, but I'm not taking them now. But there was a piece of my life where I did something and somebody probably looked at me and said, you know what? You know, look at him. He's all big. He's a juiced up steroid guy, piece of crap, you know, maybe. I'm sure people did say that.
And how did you feel about that?
It didn't matter how I felt about it at the moment. And when you're in the moment of doing something, you cannot see the wrong that you're doing.
You think
or if
that
it is
taking
wrong.
steroids is wrong?
Now that I look back at it, no, it was just something that I did for survival. There's a way, there's juice, and then there's abuse, right? I never did it for any abusive things or any other purpose. And when I did do it, I got checked by the doctors and everything. So, in other words, what I'm saying is, as men and then as there women, we all are faced with opportunities, you know, sinfulness. You know, we all have our sins.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And for me, I think I have a greater responsibility now is being on that God gave me a platform, you know, to let somebody know, hey, if you're going through something, if you're going through some struggles, whether it's with your drug addiction or whether it's with homosexuality, you know, or you're having issues with your gender or whatever, you know, you could change from that. You know, you don't have to accept, you know, that, what you're struggling with, you know? Yeah. And we all have struggles. So no matter what the situation is happening in the world and these wars and everything, we don't have to live according to what the hell is happening around us. You know, we can be a light in the middle of the darkness. We have to find our way. You understand? Yeah. So we can't fall short of the evil that we see done around us. We can be a light in the darkness. So if there's 100 people and all of them are lost, but there's one person that could change that 100 and say, hey, by the way, guys. One. Yeah. Be the one. So that's what we got to do, you know?
Be the one.
Be the light.
The most commented topic these days when I told everyone that you're my guest is the steroids things. Because when we see you guys in America, though, like big like that and everything, compared to our guys that are competitors here in the bodybuilding sport, you are maybe 3 or 4 or 5 times bigger. And we think what they are taking, what kind of steroids are, what they are eating. So this question maybe is most important tonight. What have you taken in your life? And what do you think? Does the bodybuilders now are abusing the steroids? Maybe I want to say Big Ramy and everyone there competing right now, because the bodybuilding sport from Arnold Schwarzenegger till now, the guys are maybe 5 times bigger.
So you want to know my opinion on that situation is, again, I would have to say to someone who is asking the question of what somebody else is doing to look like that or whatever, like, it doesn't matter what somebody else is doing. Like, again, you have to make proper decisions for your life. You know, I can't answer the question of what somebody else is taking because I could care less. I don't know. That's their own personal decisions of what they decide to do. I can only tell you about me, you know. I don't know anything about Big Ramy or his cycles. I don't know anything about any other bodybuilder cycles, you know. I could tell you that, number one, success doesn't come out of a steroid bottle. Kevin Levrone, the world doesn't know my name because I was born through steroid abuse or this situation, right? There's so much that comes into play. Whether it's America or the whole world, my advice to anyone out there who thinks it's cool, it's not cool. You're playing Russian roulette with your life, number one. The reason why you're taking something and the reason why you're doing it, you better be smart about it. Anything that you get addicted to can destroy your life, okay? So not just steroids, whether you're an alcoholic, whether you're doing heroin, drugs, or whatever. Yeah. You know, just there is steroid use in the bodybuilding community. Everybody knows that. My advice that and I'll answer the questions. I don't care, you know. I never took a lot of stuff, you know. If you look at me in my life, I've only worked out 4 months, a whole year, you know. So most of my drive and ambition, it came through wanting to be great, eating, training, sleeping. You know, I would eat 4,800 calories a day. I would eat 6 times a day. I would wake up 5 o'clock in the morning. I would do 2 hours of cardio on an empty stomach. I'd come back. I eat my first meal at 8 o'clock, eat my second meal at 10, right? 1, You know, every other hour, I would eat 6, 7 times a day. I would sleep 10 hours a day. I'd go to bed 9 o'clock at night. I would go in the gym at 4 p.m. again and train until 6 p.m. I was like a machine. I think
like
these,
a soldier.
yeah, these are the things that they need to be worrying about if they're trying to be like somebody else. You got to dig down and figure what it is that you want to do. And if you have that mindset, and you don't get that mindset out of a steroid, but I don't care how much shit you take. You follow what I'm saying? Yeah. So every great champion, a champion that makes it to that elite top level in a sport, there's something else driving them to their greatness. And that's the problem missing out there. And I want these kids to know there's no shortcuts to, if you want to be a Kevin Levrone or Dorian Yates or Ronnie Coleman or Lee Haney or Arnold Schwarzenegger or anyone at that top level. There's no shortcuts if you want to be like a Bruce Lee or whatever. You know, you have to put that work in. You know, like, you don't know how many times I've missed my family reunions. I haven't even been around my family 6 or 7 years because I'm training for a contest. You know, missing birthdays, you know what I mean? I'm on the road missing my son's birthday last year. I go to 20-some different countries right now, you know? So it's that work. Yeah. So when somebody starts talking about steroids and this and that, that's just
It makes you angry?
It fuels me because I see people doing it for the wrong reasons. And I see people abusing it and they don't even have a chance. And they're doing it for the wrong purpose and the wrong, like, this is a sport that I respect. This is a sport that has given me everything that I have today. And this is a sport that introduced me to Joe Weider, that I have a great life from, you know, and I think it needs to be respected. And when there's some people in the sport that gives it a bad name because, like anything, people only want to shine the light on negativity. Well, let's talk about the great good things that the sport of bodybuilding has laid down the platform for. So, you know, when I see anyone abusing themselves and it's attached to something that I care about, they don't have to do it like that, bro. You know, there's a smart way. Go to the doctors. You know, I go to the doctors and get my blood pulled even to this day every 3 months, you know. I'm in the doctors all the time, checking my health. And I did the same thing when I decided to put something foreign in my body. I know exactly what I was putting in there. There's a doctor helping me. I'm looking at my blood work. And I'm not just being this radical individual.
You had some problem in your life?
No. And that's why I didn't have any problems, because I was smart about it, you know?
Tell me about the philosophy of the training 4 months in the year. That's something that...
But we talked about that earlier, though.
Yeah, you told me a little bit.
It came about, it's something that I stumbled over because I tore my chest injury. I tore my chest, right?
You learned to train 4 months because of the injury?
I had no choice. I only had 4 months to get ready for the Mr. Olympia.
So you continued to practice,
and then I realized that, damn, I could do this in 4 months. And then
so why do I need 12?
Yeah, I started just doing it in 4 months, and it worked. So that's how I ended up with that.
Maybe that's why you were second 4 times.
Why?
Because you trained 4 months. Just joking.
Check this out, though. I wouldn't change anything in the world. I'm glad I didn't go back and train 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 or 12 months. I probably would be dead right now, you know, or walking around in the wheelchair or something like that. You know, who knows? My journey, my path was mine, and it led me to where I'm at now.
You said now wheelchair. It comes to mind Ronnie Coleman. What do you think about his career? Is it every successes that he did so important to finish his life like this? It's not bad he's finishing, but he has a lot of health problems.
Everyone, you know, I've actually asked Ronnie. I've asked Ronnie before, just like me, you know. He says, Kevin, if I had to go back and change anything, he said I would do everything he's saying the exactly way that I did it. That's exactly what he said, you know. Every time I see Ronnie, he's got a smile on his face, man. The guy never complains. And for me, this is a true warrior, man.
Yeah.
You know, we see the warrior. We don't see the muscles now. Now we see the warrior. We see the heart inside of him. The muscles have been stripped away, you know, and now we see this lion that continues to fight. If he can walk, if he can't walk, he's still continuing to fight with a smile on his face. This is what you didn't see when you saw the muscles, right? Damn, you just saw him big. But now the muscles stripped away and we see something greater, something more that's driving. That's what drove him, is what driving him now. And I think it's a beautiful thing, you know, because he's a beautiful human being and his mindset is just overpowering, man. And he's a hero. He's a hero, definitely for me.
I have interesting story with him with the vodka.
Yeah.
Macedonian people maybe don't know the story. I will tell them a little bit. Кевин и Рони Колман имаат надпреварување и пред да започнат надпреварувањето, Кевин му нуди водка со тоа што му кажува дека се надева ќе ни раскаже он поконкретно што, меѓутоа се надева дека поради тоа што ќе се напие водка следниот ден на такмичењето нема да му биде толку добра формата. You wanted to trick him with the vodka?
No. It's not like I wanted to trick him.
Or you wanted to trick him?
No, I didn't want to trick him. I was sitting in my room in Russia and I was just drinking some vodka.
You were in Russia?
Yeah, I was drinking some vodka in my hotel room. You know, and I won the show. We were on a world tour. We went to Spain, Italy, Germany, France, and then we were in Russia. And I won the Russian Grand Prix the previous year. So, you know, these guys want to eat. They eat a lot of rice. They always eating. Bodybuilders eat a lot of food, too much food. So they're looking for food. They're looking for all this stuff to eat. So Ronnie knocked on my door one night. He knocked on my door, and I heard looking through the peephole like this. I'm opening the door up, and he comes on in, you know, and he asked me, he says, you know, what you doing, man? You know, what's the secret? And, you know, I've been watching Ronnie, you know, because I always pay attention to everything, all the bodybuilders. And I said, man, you know what your problem is? I said, your problem is you're taking everything too serious. You always want to eat. You always want to go to the gym. You're overdoing everything. You need to just relax, right? Mm-hmm. You're pushing your body too much. So I said, hey, why don't you have a seat? It was about 2:00 in the morning. I said, have a seat, drink some vodka, you know, have a shot of vodka. I don't drink that stuff, Kevin. I don't drink no vodka. I said, come on, big dog, try some vodka out. If you say try, I'm going to go ahead and try.
He never tried it?
Never tried it, right, no. If you say try, I'm going to go ahead and try. I said, all right, go ahead and try it, man. So he had a shot, 2, 3 shots, 4 shots. By this time, he's tipsy, you know. So he leaves.
Busy? He went
yeah. So 4 hours later, he leaves, goes to his room. And I see him the next day, you know, because we had a competition. So the next day, I see him on stage, and I'm like, holy shit. He's backstage, you know, pumping up. I'm like, damn.
So you hoped?
Oh, my God.
You hoped some other way to happen.
So what happened was that vodka and that coffee, it dehydrated him.
So the veins popped?
So all the stress, everything was gone, and he just was, I was like, oh, shit.
You helped him.
Yeah. So he won that show. He won the Russian Grand Prix. And then he came back to America.
What was your place in that show?
I got second.
Second.
But prior to this, I beat him everywhere. So that was the rise of Ronnie Coleman. And then he came back to the United States, and we competed in the USA and solidified it.
So
he
the
beat me
start
at the
of the
Night of
career of the
Champions.
Ronnie Coleman was the vodka thing in Russia.
The vodka and coffee.
And you lost in
Lost
Olympia,
in it. Yeah.
maybe because of that.
Never beat him since, and he came back and he won the Mr. Olympia.
Have you tried vodka since then?
Oh, yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
You should think about that. You helped him with the vodka and he beat
So
you.
he went on to be 8-time Mr. Olympia. Great story, man. You know.
Before we call Ivica Aleksovski,
Mm-hmm.
he's the guy that called you here in Macedonia. We will talk about your business and he will tell us how many years your supplements and your brand is here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the most important thing that needs to be respected in your life is that you came back to Olympia 52. You was 52 years old?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or
maybe.
53?
I think it was.
Those years.
I don't know. I thought it was 50.
50?
I think
50.
Yeah.
Has anybody competed in 50 years?
Yeah, I think Vince Taylor did. He looked really good too.
It's so rare, right?
Yeah, very, very rare.
Tell me about the strategy. Somebody wants to tell about that it's only about the marketing.
Nah, it wasn't about no marketing. Remember, I never won the Mr. Olympia, so I was pissed off.
You thought that you can win on your 50s?
I don't know. I thought I was.
Be honest.
Listen, when you have something, like Rocky said, unfinished business in the basement, right? When you have some unfinished business in the basement, for 15 years, I'm carrying this around and I can't sleep at night. I'm like, damn. I had to go, personally, for me, and revisit it and go back to the stage to put it to rest. So it wasn't about marketing. It was about something that I had personal going on inside of me that I had to flush out.
Yeah.
The only way I could flush it out was to go through that process mentally, walk out on stage, right? And actually give it my best again. I only had 6 months to get ready, and I hadn't worked out in 14, 15 years, okay? So I walked out and I did my best. Finally, on the Mr. Olympia stage, I was okay with losing. I'd never been okay with getting second because every time I got second, I felt like I should have won. I felt like I was ripped off. So that was the only show deep down inside of me that
good.
never set well with me. You understand? So it wasn't about what I looked like or wasn't about trying to win. Yeah, I did my best. It was more self-gratifying, something in the basement mentally that I had to put to rest. So that's what it was. Meanwhile, while this was happening, everybody in the world got inspired.
Yeah.
Because when you have a market employee, it's bullshit. Strength is what empowers people. The truth is what empowers people. People were inspired because they felt the realness, because they knew that it was truthful.
Yeah.
And to this day, when something is real, it's what it is. It's not made up.
Yeah, people
crap.
know it is real.
So I'm not a genius to come up with a deploy like that, to go out on stage at a place that I respect, judges that I've known my whole entire career, just to do it for marketing, for a supplement. Nah, I'm not a sellout like that.
Okay.
So I did my best. That's what happened. And I'm glad I did do it because I'm happy with my life now. Now, on the back end, you know, the whole world knows me and I've gotten respect. I got a standing ovation from it. I didn't know that, you know, the supplements or whatever was going to be inspired. I inspired so many people, you know, young people and other people who had given up on their life and who felt like embarrassed, you know, to try to go back and do something and make something happen for them. So I inspired all those people.
Yeah.
So if I had to go out and, you know, looking at the pictures, I'm like, yeah, I look like shit, you know, but it wasn't about what I look like.
You don't look like
shit. You know, it wasn't about what I look like.
In your 50s, you look, my friend, like you're in your 20s.
I did what I wanted to do. I
shit.
did it the way I wanted to do it, and I'm glad I did do it because out of all the competitions and the Mr. Olympias I've ever competed in, this is the one that meant the most to me, you know?
From this perspective, not this perspective, what do you think now about the bodybuilding like a sport? And maybe you can name some of them who compete, who is the future of the bodybuilding? What do you think?
You know,
now? They are asking in the comments about Sam Sulek. He's not competing in Mr. Olympia. He's one of the most popular bodybuilders on their social medias now.
Right. What do you want to know?
What do you think about
I met him. He's a very nice guy. Very, very, very nice guy. Very respectful. You know, he's found his way. He's found his niche. You know, it's a different era we live in now. You know, and he's successful and he's motivating people. And, you know, good for him. God bless him.
And some of the guys that are competing, what do you think? Who is the future of the bodybuilding now?
I think the sport has taken on another whole perspective, you know, with social media. Let's talk about the opportunities that this sport, bodybuilding, has now today. Okay. When you look for something, you're going to find it. You know, if you look for good in everything, you're going to find good in everything. What you are and who you are, that's what you're going to see, right? So let's talk about the good side. Let's talk about the side that I see, the marketing side, you know, the social media that wasn't there when I was there, the platform that every athlete in the world have, not only just bodybuilders, and you don't even have to be an IFBB pro or compete in the Mr. Olympia for the world to know who your name is, right?
Yeah.
So I think on the platform, on business level, it's taking it to another whole dimension, which is fantastic and great. Competitive wise, I think for me, the mystique and the mystery of our sport has disappeared. Meaning that there was a time when Joe Weider, who was the creator of this sport, he created a aura about Mr. Olympia. Mr. Olympia was so great that everybody showed up and brought tickets to see.
It was like the golden era, right?
And you didn't know what he was going to look like. Mr. Olympia, 8-time Mr. Olympia, Ronnie Coleman, you know, Dorian Yates, 6-time, you know, Phil Heath, 8-time, Lee Haney, 8-time. You know, you don't see this anymore. There's no articles written about the champion no more, you know, because leading up to the show, everybody's already showing what they look like online. They've already started prejudging online. So there's no mystery. There's that part out of it has been taken away, you know. And I asked Joe Weider one time, I says, why can't I ever beat Mr. Olympia? And he says, well, he goes, Kevin, that's what makes my Mr. Olympia so great. And I said, what do you mean? He says, because this is the only show in the world Mr. Olympia never gets defeated. And he's right. Yeah. And if you look at the Mr. Olympia today,
new times.
If you look at Mr. Olympia today, it's really nothing unique and special about it.
Maybe the social media did that. Maybe.
Maybe the fact that Joe Weider passed away and the creator isn't here anymore to look after his baby, you know. And there was a time where all of us conducted ourselves with a purpose, you know, and we knew how to market the sport and where it was going and everything. And I do believe if he was living today, it would probably be so much more greater. And the questions that we have about the Mr. Olympia and who it is and who that, it's like, you know. Yeah, they're all over the place right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So now it's time for me to ask you about your business, but maybe it's more interesting to ask you with Ivica here. So we'll make a little pause. Pravimo mala pauza, znači od minuta dve, couple of minutes, so he can sit, we can prepare the microphone, and we continue 20 minutes, and we you can leave after that because I know that you are
Yeah.
tired.
Definitely.
Одиме со кратка пауза од 2-3 минути, па продолжуваме со Ивица Алексовски, малци на македонски ќе направиме муабет за сите оние што не разбираат, а по завршување на подкастов ќе се потрудиме ќе дадеме се од себе да ставиме и превод за сите оние кои што не разбираат целосно да можат да го изгледаат легендарниот Кевин Леврон. Одиме со кратка пауза, останете тука и се враќаме за 2-3 минути. прегледи, што на вистина не очекував поради тоа што зборуваме и на англиски и ќе се потрудиме, ќе дадеме се од себе овој подкаст откако ќе заврши, нели да го преведеме. Не се слушам. Се слушам ли сега? Сега е таман, окей. Да повторам, се извинувам. Значи, да ви се заблагодарам за поддршката, за убавата енергија, веќе над 11.000 прегледи на денешниот подкаст. Искрено очекувам да има доста помалку со оглед на тоа дека зборуваме на англиски, многу од вас не разбираат, но ќе дадеме се од себе да го преведеме целиот подкаст. Ке ни треба ден-два сигурно, за да може да го изгледаат и луѓе кои што не може да не разберат сега. Пред да продолжиме, сакам да се заблагодарам на останатите спонзори и за нивната поддршка, да ги поздравам многу Юмис Лакшери, кои што можете да ги најдете и во Кочани, а можете да ги најдете и на булевар Србија во Аеродром. Преку повеќе од 3 децени синоним за квалитет и иновативност во светот на мебелот. Јас и Марта лично бевме таму и веќе сме во преговори за нов мебел кој што ќе биде за нашиот нов стан, за тоа ќе ви кажам во периодот што следува. Инаку секој парче мебел од Юмис Лакшери вие баш онака ви го раскажува приказната за елеганција и луксус. Да ги поздравам многу и фала им што станаа поддржувач на овој подкаст оваа сезона. Автовелт, повеќе зборови за нив, не знам што да употребам, освен квалитет и гаранција за квалитетно возило. Најдобрите полудни возила во Македонија ги имате токму во Автовелт. Замена за стар автомобил за нов и остатокот да се доплати е опцијата која што е најактуелна периодов. Да си ги поздравам многу секако и КФЦ. Без нив овој подкаст не функционира веќе неколку месеци, значи знаете дека најдоброто крцкаво пилешко го имате во КФЦ и секако Dream Living, фирма која што можете да најдете во Тетово. Ако сакате да изработите плочест мебел од дизајн до реализација, Dream Living треба да биде изборот за вас. Идеални решенија за канцеларија, станови, куки, што и да ви е потребно кога станува збор за уредување на простор, тука е Dream Living. Сега пред да продолжиме со разговорот и да продолжам со мојот англиски јазик, сакам да му кажам добро вечер на Ивица Алексовски и некако посрекно се чувствувам сега кој ќе можам да зборам на македонски. Добро ти вечер, инаку Ивица е собственик на The Strongest. Денеска ќе зборуваме за вашата приказна, меѓутоа си дававме збор дека ќе направиме понатаму еден подкаст и ќе слушаме и твојата приказна.
Ќе се договориме.
Добро ти вечер и добре дојде.
Добро те најдов, благодарам за поканата. Мислам дека имаме еден прекрасен човек тука, еден страшен мотиватор, шампион кој што може да се научи стварно.
Ќе го прашам прво него, како Кевин Леврон се запознаа со Македонија, па потоа, нели, ќе го прашаме и за вашето запознавање и како успеа баш ти да го донесеш тука и сега веќе да стане и тоа и традиција. Ќе кажете и за наставно што се случува утре. Kevin, tell me the first thing that was told to you about Macedonia. First, I want you to remember to go back in the time and remember what was told to you and how you came in Macedonia.
Vivek, you know.
Кога кажува Вивик, он го кажува на англиски затоа што му е полесно да каже Вивик него Ивица.
Vivek, he is Vivek. Okay.
I call him that, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Tell
He's a
him he
fighter.
needs to speak in English.
Yeah, you can translate. I want to see your English translation. Yeah, so no, he you know, we're doing business with supplements, Levrone signature series, and he invited me for the first time here to the country, and I saw Macedonia for the first time through him and through his eyes and the love and the passion and the realness and the respect that he has for his country.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I felt, you know. I'm an American, but coming to Macedonia, Skopje, and the history and the proudness and the love that he has for his country is what got my attention. Because it's different than what you see in America. In America, everybody's all over the place, you know, but when I come here to Macedonia for the first time, I mean, he picked me up. I saw the flag and how he was as a human being and what the nation and the country represented as a man and his history.
He welcomed you here with the flag when you came?
Yeah, I mean, it's in his
Wow.
gym and everything, you know, and And then I knew that he was a police officer in his history. And then I knew that he was into fitness, but as a fighter, and the love and the passion that he has for his students. And I went to his gym and I saw all of that. And that's what really impressed me, you know, because he was more than just a man. He was a man who stood for a greater purpose and believed in helping people. And that's when I was introduced. That's how I was introduced to Macedonia.
I want to ask him, кажи ми, како успеа да дојдеш до Кевин? И, окей, бизнисот ве споел интересот да ја продаваш неговата суплементација, да бидеш главен увозник. Меѓутоа, зошто баш Кевин? Еви, Рони Колман има, ако збориме...
Моја продавница не дека е 10 години, значи сега септември преме некој јубилеј 10 години постоење. Кога се вратам наназад, да кажам, во почетоците, значи стварно го почнав бизнисот со ич пари, да кажам. Го почнавме од нула. Во тоа време почнав да работам со Fitness Authority. Они почнаа да произведуваат суплементи за Кевин и понудија некоја опција за да направи една тура да дојде Најава. И со тоа време мене ми беа стварно многу пари да дојде чеков тука, пошто бев уште на самиот почеток на бизнисот. И прв пат мислам дека го носиме во април 2017 година, значи он доаѓа во Македонија. Ова му е негов 4ти пат како е во Македонија. Значи од првиот пат, знаеш што некако ќе се видиш кој на прв поглед онако ќе почнеш да правиш муабет. Буквално седнавме и кога да се знаеме 20 години. Значи од тој прв ден, да кажам, некоја енергија е друга и се буквално кога доаѓа тука доаѓа како е пријател, не доаѓа на строго официјално, не знам, туку баш имаме еден релаксиран пријателски муабет, разговор, енергија. Многу пати кога правевме муабет, ти спомнав дека знае да се јави на WhatsApp, да ме праша како сум, што сум, и ја чекам да ме праша што сака да ме праша, нели да бара нешто, да ме праша, чекам и на крај ќе ја праша зашто се јави, не онака да те чујам. Значи има, како да кажам, знаеш, она со некој кој си на исти левел, и буквално тој прв пат до ден денеска имаме некоја страшна енергија, а суплементиве се само една работа која што ете не зврза, да врзува, ја работиме заедно, али е стартна подобна точка, сега буквално сме стварно добри пријатели, функционира тоа на некое многу интересно напредно ниво.
He's saying that you have a routine to call him without any need. You're just asking him how are you and what is your day.
Yeah.
Maybe that shows the greatness of Kevin Levrone.
It's not only about just supplements. Sometimes, you know, God brings everybody together for a greater purpose, man.
Yep.
You know, I don't do shit to sell supplements. I do things because I care about people. You know, I respect him as a human being. He respects me as a human being. And then what he does or what I do is just, you know, how can we, you know what I mean, help people through what it is that we do. So that's what it is, you know what I mean? I don't have to have a reason to call him to sell him anything. I call her to check on him because, hey, man, what's up? How you doing? How's Macedonia? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Looking forward to coming back. You know, that's it.
Did you call him in America? Did you call him in America to come? Си бил некогаш?
Не.
Не? You need to call him to come in America.
It's hard to get him away, man. You know, his daughter, she needs him. He's there training her all the time, and it's amazing what she's accomplished. You know, that's impressive.
His daughter is brand ambassador. To your supplements,
she's unbelievable. I've watched her grow up. You know, starting the relationship that he has with her every single day. You know, and to see the amazing champion that she is, man. It's because of his love, man, and that's respectful. You know.
Каде го однесе? Што правевте?
Знаеш, ќе се надополнам преска што праша ти зашто сме заедно. Значи ја продав суплементи на Кевин, продав суплементи на Доријан, на Рони Колман и на многу.
Ги продаваше?
Да.
Аха, не знаев.
Останав со него највише затоа што има посебна енергија. Значи јас се уште ги продам на Доријан, на Рони не ги продам веќе, али има некоја страшна енергија човек, како да ти обяснам. Значи он не ми се ева на мене за пари да направиме. Ти се овако пријател, разбираш?
Браво.
И после знаеш дека парите сами по себе ќе си дојдат.
Апсолутно.
Извини, како беше
прашањето? Каде го однесе? I'm asking now about some interesting stuff that you have been done here. How he promoted Macedonia to you?
Првиот пат кога дојде во Македонија, да ти кажам искрено, во продавница кога ќе дојдеше некој од миштерије ќе прашаве Кевин ќе дојде, стварно имате реклама направена. Да, како не Кевин ќе дојде. Пошто во тој период, речеме 2017 година, на територија на Балкан немаше да дојде некој тако великан, да кажам, светот на бодибилдинг. разбираш. Кај него е многу интересно што на 50 и нешто години се врати назад, па направи камбек, па направи една кампања интересна.
Да.
Како он сам што кажува, он него направи тоа за маркетинг. Го направи сам себе да си докаже дали може и на овие години да го направи тоа. И са таа енергија што има, разбираш, таа пожртвувана што има, ти спомна преска 4 дена на експо, претходно беше у една држава, у друга држава.
Сега имаше тура.
Че буквално се труди секој дека да отиде, секој дека да помогне и да го направи. Кога дојде во Македонија, да ти кажам првиот пат, мислам дека не слета во Македонија, ја го чекав на аеродром, па авионот не можеше да слета како денес што имаше проблем, не. Првиот пат, па се врати назад. Па беше, мислам дека во Австрија на аеродром до Сабајле, па другиот дека дојде тука беше
Шашардисан.
Да, баш Шашардисан, но не знаеше кај. Првиот пат и беше така поофицијален да кажам, веќе вториот, третиот пат отидовме и на шапка во некои рационални ресторани, па тука по фитнес хаус бевме, па у хотел парк. У тоа време Скајвил не го однесовме, Стар Джим, значи го поминавме на поише места. Него гледав дека ја треба да го донесам и кај мене да го донесам. Буквално на некој начин го делев со секој кој што сака да го, да го запознае, да го види.
Твојата енергија, ние се запознавме пред месеци нешто, твојата енергија е од прв ден, барем јас ја осеќам дека е стварно пријателска. И тоа мене многу ми се свија. I'm telling that his energy is so friendly. And he just told us that he bring you to another people who have businesses here. He doesn't feel that you are his product here and that's it. You know. What maybe the food or something fell, what, како да му кажам, што му остане навален впечаток? Знаеш,
па за храна да ти кажам го, на пример денеска бевме у фитнес хаус. Јас му нарачав.
Чеки традиционална, have you eaten traditional food in Macedonia or something? Граф, мусака, ајвар?
Не.
You have to learn these things.
Не,
Grass, moussaka, what is it?
Graf, moussaka, и aјvar. Aјvar. Put it on the bread, and you fell in love in the first moment, and you eat that all life. Како немам aјvar сега да му даде? Така виш. We can give you after this.
Не, пази, гурман, сака да ти викам, сега му нарачав риба, му порачав други работи у фитнес хаус. Он не вика сакам да пробам вековат. Сакам да пробам оваа салат. Значи сака да види поише работи интересни.
We have
fitness house.
But we have a traditional food that you need to try.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
we have a big event tomorrow.
That was the next question. What is happening tomorrow?
We have a seminar. Well, we have a store visit. The Strongest Shop. I'm going to be there. And then we have the seminar,
8 часот, Джеварске сити, влезот е слободен, сите заинтересирани може да дојдат. Он ќе одржи неколку, да кажам, мали говори мотивациони за себе и за него, ќе има прашања и одговори. Ќе направиме супер, ќе направиме некое мало надпреварување. Ќе видите таму на лице место ќе биде изненадување. Ќе има некоја награда, ќе подели некоја мајца, некој шејкер, ќе даде дози. Сите што се присутни ќе може да се сликаат со него, буквално да земат, имаме ние направено посебно за да земат автограм од него, значи да биде едно дружење. Значи влезот е бесплатен, отворено е. До 8 мислам дека 10 часот ќе го завршиме. Претходно денот јас сакам да го однесам во продавница кај мене. Направивме пред неколку години истото, он се потпиша, да кажам, на пола производи, остаje подпис. Така да во наредните денови кој сака да може да купи со негов подпис, да кажам, може да си го купи тоа и да му остане како споменик.
Ете, тоа е една од работите што вие ќе можете да ги добиете како негови фанови утре, меѓутоа се договоривме нешто да дадеме и денес.
Така, 5 награди ќе даеме денес.
We are giving some gifts now for the people that are watching now.
Great.
And we told them tomorrow that they can meet you and you can give them autographs, shoot some photos with them. I will be there too. We can make a good time. Што даваме, кажи ми сега?
Значи даваме една мајца на Кевин.
Дали може да ги добиеме кесата?
Од последната
Марта, режија, помагај.
Ќе има некој шејкер, ќе има некој дози, буквално тие ќе го видат среќни добитници да може да пробаат дел од неговите производи.
Убава кеса. Nice package.
Thank you.
Original one.
Original one. This is your design. Okay. Значи чекајте сега, дечки, да видиме што добивате. Значи добивате шејкер, Кевин Леврон,
Levrone.
Levrone, sorry. Имате повеќе и при воркаути, од ова добив и јас. Ова се чоколади? Протеините? Значи имате и чоколади, имате и протеини од неговата серија. Имате и мајчка која што можете да си ја добиете. Значи вакви подароци секој дадеме 5. Секој што сака да добие ќе може да се подигне во The Strongest.
Да, утре може да дојде меѓу 7 и 8 во Strongest шоп ќе ги оставиме. Лоциране во Джевајерска сити во Кула Д, во долниот дел од нашата сала. Може тама да ги подигнат и може директно да дојдат на самиот евент да бидат дел од евентот.
Ајде, секој што сака сега да биде награден, може да ни пише во коментар јас. Знаете, до душа, ова сме го правиле многу пати, сме доделувале подароци, така што секој што сака да добие, нека си запише дали е машко, дали е женско. Што збориш? We have Ivar.
Master Daddy
We have Ivar. Check.
We have what?
We have Ivar. The one, the thing that I will tell you, the traditional food.
Macedonian.
Ivar, you have to try it now. That's a challenge for you now.
That's right.
Wait. Океј, гледам дека има многу интерес. Значи, Александар Петрески добиваш подарок од The Strongest и Кевин Леврони. Те молам запиши. Александар Петрески. Ивица, кажи ти стоп, ајде.
Стоп.
Матеј Сандев. Исто така добиваш подарок. Напишам. Say stop.
Stop.
Иван Данилов. Добиваш подарок. Ајде, дали има дами кои што сакаат да вежбаат и да бидат позгодни есенва и зимава. Ајде да одбереме некоја девојка. Има ли девојка? Све мажи бе, што е ова работа? You're looking for some women to give.
Really?
Све се мажи. Дали има или нема?
You have to ask Ali for that one. He knows.
Мартина Митков. Еве ти на тебе е убаво подароче кој што ќе си
Martina Mitkov.
Мартина Митков.
Martina Mitkov. Congratulations.
Сара Димитровска. Congratulations to you.
Eat salad.
Сара Димитровска.
Sarah
Димитровска.
Dimirovska.
Димитровска.
Dimitrovska.
That's good. Имаме ли лажичка? Не. Па со што ќе пробаме човек? Бе сега да пробаш.
Сега да пробаш.
Дай. We want to give you Ivar, but we don't have a spoon.
Сега да пробаш.
You can smell it. This is the most... Wait.
What is it?
The most famous.
Looks like tomato sauce.
No.
You can
It's a
smell
pepper.
it.
What's tomato? What is it?
From tomatoes. Како е пиперка, не знам? Peppers, tomatoes.
Tastes good.
Do you taste it? You have to try it with cheese, but not cheese сирење, исто е cheese сирење на англиски.
Да.
Ќе му дајете сирење.
Бело си него.
Feta cheese, white cheese.
Good.
You understand? You have to try with cheese and with bread.
Okay.
And you will fall in
And
love
what
with
is this?
Ivar.
Ivar.
Ivar, yeah. За крај, for the end, some plans with the business or with your professional life, maybe you want to, you tell? Or after the Ivar, you don't want to speak, you want to eat.
Just looking forward to seeing everybody here, and it's good to be back. Thank you, Vivo. Thank you, man, for bringing me on to your show. You know, it's been a good experience.
I hope that it was good for you.
It was excellent. And your English.
It's okay.
Number 10. 1 to 10, you got a 10, bro.
It means a lot. I have to practice.
No, very
If I speak
excellent.
with a good routine, I will be better.
Yeah.
When Ivica comes to America, I want to come together with him.
To Maryland.
Maryland. Yes.
Ивица, кажи ни ти, еве, за утре, пак уште еднаш програмата, која е и турнева, видов дека и 10-ти, 11-ти тука е?
Да, 11-ти си оди веќе, значи 9-10-11-ти, предна турнеја, Македонија, па после го росимо Србија, да мој добар пријател таму, кој што е застапник за Србија, па таму иде Косово, и после не знам сега на кај лета, али сакам да кажам ова негово што го тера е стварно напорно, значи секој божи ден на различно место со различни луѓе, различни муабети.
Верувам.
Така да денеска веруваме дека скапа утепан, преска го чекавме на аеродром 3 пати авионот не може да слета па вртише горе. Така да утепан не гледаш дека е пун енергија. Утре ќе биде интересно, ги повикам да дојдат сите буквално да на лице место да видат што е, како е, зашто си прашаат некој праша, го интересира. Сега го пратев во живо и коментарите на YouTube, значи има еден тон коментари, има прашања, буквално може да утре на лице место да го праша, да се сликаат, да се интересира, да.
Супер. Сакам да ви се заблагодарам, нели, и на тебе. I want to say thanks because you had problems with your flight, you are tired, but 2 hours we are finished now, and really respect for that. Most of the people that are watching now, they have questions, but because you're tired, they can do it that in...
You want to take maybe 2 or 3 more questions?
If you want.
It's okay with me, yeah.
If you want, maybe... Ајде, дечки, по едно прашање, 2 еве да прочитам.
Everybody ask you about your singing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot the singing part.
One song, brother.
Maybe you can sing something now.
One song.
No, tomorrow.
Something.
Tomorrow. Come to the thing.
No, this is live.
Tomorrow, baby. Tomorrow. Right?
Мора да го научиш бисер балкански. You have to learn this. Солзи сами капат. Try it. Солзи сами капат, прости ми.
Солзи сами би
капат, прости
ми.
Again.
Ќе поведи. Да знаеш дека прати еве кога ќе почнеш да ја поведи.
This was good. You have to learn Mr. Balkanski full song so you can sing it. Again, thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you again, and I hope that the next interview maybe it will be in America.
Thank you.
Ивица, фала ти тебе, а со тебе обавезно правиме подкаст годинава, ќе се договориме, затоа што и твојата животна приказна е стварно фасцинирачка од 0 до 100. Јас така кажувам за луѓе што почнале од 0 па направиле многу. Дечки, јас да ви се заблагодарам и на вас, да не поддржите со лайк, да го поддржите овој лайв стрим, еве да за крај да видиме како одиме со прегледи. Веќе стигнавме на 13.000, што е навистина за почит за подкаст кој што е на англиски јазик, и секако дека ќе се потрудиме да ви направиме и превод за оние што не разбираат, да може да изгледаат животната приказна на Кевин Леврони. Продолжуваме понатаму. Фала ви за поддршката и во коментари, и за крај да им се заблагодарам на двата генерални спонзори, Тамаро маркети од Охрид, кои што се најдобрите маркети во Македонија, за поддршката на овој подкаст, и секако Моцарт и нивната онлайн страна mozartbetonline.mk за поддршката и за оваа нова сезона да продолжиме во полно светло и со нови сили. Добра ви ноќ, каде и да сте, што и да правите. Чао, чао!